In this video, we'll demonstrate how to determine the ship's gyro error and compass deviation for the ship's heading using a celestial body, star, through ABC method. In this example, we will use the star Antares as our celestial body to determine the ship's gyro error and the compass deviation for the ship's heading. Let us assume that on the 11th of April 2021, at 0610 hours and 24 seconds, the gyro bearing of the star Antares was observed to be 140 degrees. At the time of observation, the ship's GPS position is as shown. The gyro course is 175 degrees, while the magnetic course, taken from the ship's magnetic compass, is 169 degrees. The variation in the locality is 7.1 degrees east. With these data now available, we can proceed to the first step, determining the Greenwich hour angle, local hour angle, and declination of the star Antares. The GHA of the star is obtained by adding the GHA of Aries to the sidereal hour angle of the star. To determine these values, we refer to the Nautical Almanac. Open the daily pages and locate the date, 11th of April. The GHA of Aries and the SHA of the star, including its declination, are found in the left-hand page, which covers April 10th, 11th, and 12th. Since our observation is on April 11th, we use the middle section of the page, particularly the first and second columns. The first column represents time and hours, while the second column shows the GHA of Aries. Let's zoom in on this section. Do not be confused by the term sun in this section. It refers to the day of the week, Sunday. Now, locate the GHA of Aries in the second column at 06 hours. The value is 289 degrees, 40.5 minutes. However, this value corresponds exactly to 06 hours, while our observation was made at 06 hours, 10 minutes and 24 seconds. Therefore, we need the increment value, which can be obtained from the yellow pages of the Nautical Almanac. Before turning to the increments table, let's first extract the sidereal hour angle and declination of Antares from this section. The first column lists the names of the stars. The second column shows the corresponding SHA, and the third column gives the declination. Let's zoom in on this section of the table. Here we can locate the star Antares. Let's take a closer look. This is the value of the sidereal hour angle, and this is its declination. A negative declination indicates that the star is south of the celestial equator, while a positive declination indicates north. In several almanacs, the direction, north or south, is explicitly indicated for clarity. Now let's turn to the yellow pages of the Nautical Almanac and locate the increments section for 10 minutes. Let's rotate the page for a better view. This portion of the table provides the increments and corrections for 9 minutes, while the adjacent section is for 10 minutes, which is the one we need. In this table, the first column represents the seconds of time, ranging from 0 to 59 seconds, and the third column corresponds to Aries. Let's take a closer look at this section. Now the increment for Aries at 10 minutes and 24 seconds is 2 degrees, 36.4 minutes. The increment is always added to determine the total GHA of Aries. Next, by adding the SHA of the star, the sum is the GHA of the star Antares. Since the total exceeds 360 degrees, we subtract 360 degrees to bring it within the standard range. The GHA of star Antares is therefore 44 degrees, 36.2 minutes. To determine the LHA of the star, subtract west longitude and add east longitude from the GHA. In this case, the observer's longitude is west, so we subtract it from GHA. However, since longitude is greater than the GHA, we first add 360 degrees to the GHA before subtracting. This gives an LHA of 321 degrees 11 minutes. Alternatively, instead of subtracting 360, we can do it like this. The result will be the same. But I'd rather leave it like this to show the actual value of GHA. Now, if the LHA is between 0 and 180 degrees, name west. If greater than 180 degrees, name east. In this example, the LHA is east. Our next step is to determine the true bearing of the star Antares using the ABC method. This can be carried out either with Norie's nautical tables or by using a scientific calculator. For this demonstration, I will show both approaches. Let us first use the nautical tables and tabulate the value of A using the LHA and observer's latitude. Go to Table A and turn the pages until we locate the LHA value we previously calculated. At the top and below of the table, we can find the value of local hour angle. The latitude values are shown along both sides of the table. Let's take a closer look at this section. The local hour angle of Antares at the time of observation is 321 degrees 11 minutes. In the table, the available values are 321 degrees 0 minute and 321 degrees 30 minutes. We will take the nearest value, which is 321 degrees 0 minute. For this approach, we will not perform interpolation and will later compare the result using a scientific calculator. Now, the observer's latitude is 22 degrees 34.3 minutes. Again, we take the nearest tabulated value, which is 23 degrees. The corresponding value of A is 0.52. On each page of Table A, the rule for naming the value of A is clearly indicated, named opposite to the latitude except when the LHA is between 90 and 270 degrees. In this example, the LHA is 321 degrees, which falls outside this range. Therefore, the value of A is named opposite to the latitude. Since the latitude is north, the name of A is south. To determine the value of A using a scientific calculator, we use the formula A equals tangent latitude divided by tangent local hour angle. Kindly check if you got the same result. If we round it off to 2 decimal places, we obtain the same value as that taken from Norie's nautical tables. Next, we determine the value of B by tabulating it using the LHA and declination of the star. Turn to Table B, which is located on the following page of the table we previously used. Let's zoom in on this section as it contains the values we need. Using the nearest tabulated values, we take the LHA as 321 degrees 00 minute and the declination as 26 degrees. The corresponding value of B is 0.78. On each page of Table B, the rule for naming the value of B is also provided. Always name the same as the declination. Since the declination is south, the value of B is also south. To determine the value of B using a scientific calculator, we use the formula B equals tangent declination divided by sine LHA. Kindly check if you got the same result. There's a discrepancy of 0.01 due to taking the nearest tabulated values without interpolation. Therefore, we will adopt the result of the calculator, which is 0.79. To determine the value of C, the rule is same names take the sum, different names take the difference. In this case, the names are the same. We add the value of A and B and copy the common name. If the names are different, take the difference and copy the name of the greater value. Now, to determine the azimuth of the star Antares, we use Table C, tabulating with the value of C and the latitude. Let's take a closer look at this section of the table as it contains the values we need. At the top of the table, locate the value of C, or the nearest value, and then select the nearest latitude, which is 22 degrees. In this case, the value of C is 1.31. which lies between 1.30 and 1.32. The corresponding azimuth values are between 39.3 and 39.7 degrees. By inspection, the azimuth of Antares is 39.5 degrees. If we are confused, simply add both values, then divide it by 2, and we get the same result. On each page of Table C, the rule for naming the azimuth is also provided. The azimuth is north or south on the name of C, and east or west depending on the value of the LHA. This rule defines the prefix and suffix of the azimuth. In this case, the name of C is south, so the azimuth takes south as its prefix. Since the LHA is east, the suffix of the azimuth is east. Let's verify this value using a scientific calculator with this formula. Kindly check if you obtain the same result. There is a small discrepancy of 0.1 degrees as interpolation in latitude was not performed when using the tables. Therefore, we will take the calculator result, which is 39.6 degrees. The azimuth of the star Antares is south 39.6 degrees east, expressed in quadrantal form. To convert this to true azimuth or true bearing, we determine the corresponding angle based on the quadrant. The formulas for conversion depend on whether the bearing lies in the first, second, third, or fourth quadrant. Since southeast lies in the second quadrant, the true azimuth is obtained by subtracting the azimuth from 180 degrees. Therefore, the true azimuth or true bearing of Antares is 140.4 degrees. Let's now proceed to the final step, calculating the gyro error and the deviation for the ship's heading. The gyro error is determined by taking the difference between the true bearing and the gyro bearing. Simply subtract the lesser value from the greater. The true bearing is 140.4 degrees, while the gyro bearing is 140.0 degrees. The gyro error is 0.4 degree. To determine the direction of the error, we can use the mnemonic compass best, error west, compass least, error east. Now, the true bearing was determined through calculations, while the gyro bearing was taken from the gyro compass. In this case, the compass refers to gyro bearing, which is least because it has a lesser value, so the gyro error is east. Next, apply the gyro course to determine the true course. The rule is to add easterly error and subtract westerly error. The gyro course at the time of observation is 175 degrees. And since the error is east, we add it. Therefore, the true course is 175.4 degrees. Next, we take the difference between the true course and the magnetic course to determine the magnetic error, which is 6.4 degrees. This magnetic error represents the total error of the magnetic compass, consisting of variation and deviation. To determine the direction, we can use this mnemonic. In this case, compass refers to the magnetic course, since it was taken from the magnetic compass, which is the lesser value, so the magnetic error is east. Next, apply the variation to determine the deviation. There are several methods for finding the deviation. If we use the rule same names add, different names subtract, we always reverse the direction of the variation for this particular process before applying the rules. Since the variation is east, it is temporarily treated as west. With different names, we subtract the values and copy the name of the greater value. The deviation is 0.7 degrees west. Now, we can use an alternative method that does not require reversing the direction of variation. This method follows the rule, same names subtract, different names add. In this case, since the total error and variation have the same name, we subtract the lesser value from the greater. In naming the deviation, if the names are the same, copy the common name. If they are different, take the name of the greater value. However, in this situation, the variation is greater than the total error. The rule is to reverse the common name to determine the direction of the deviation. The deviation is 0.7 degrees west. Now, a common question arises, why do we need to temporarily reverse the name of the variation when using this method? Let's assume that the variation and deviation are known, and we're solving for the total error, or magnetic error. The rule in finding the total error is if variation and deviation have the same name, add. If they have different names, subtract. In this case, they have different names, so we subtract and take the name of the greater value. The total error is therefore 6.4 degrees east. Observe that in this situation, the variation and deviation are known, and we're solving for the total error, using the standard rule. However, in our earlier case, the total error and variation are known, and we're solving for the deviation, using the same rule. Because the known and unknown quantities are reversed, the process also changes. This is the reason why we temporarily reverse the name of the variation in this particular method. Now, we can use this as a third method for finding the deviation, known as the trial and error method. To verify whether the deviation is correct, we check it by either correcting or uncorrecting the compass. In this example, we will use the correcting method. The compass course taken from the magnetic compass is 169 degrees. When applying the errors, a simple way to remember is by using the cadet rule. From compass to true, add easterly variation and deviation. If westerly, subtract. By applying this, we obtain a true course of 175.4 degrees, which matches the value previously calculated by applying the gyro error to the gyro course. That's all for now. I hope you found this helpful. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next one. Bye.